joke, so I'm not going to spend any more time on it. Let's go to Brant in California. How are you?
Yeah. Am I talking to Matt?
Yeah, you're on with Matt and Jenna, and we apologize for keeping you waiting while somebody tried to make a really, crappy joke.
Well, I was kind of thinking, well, you guys were going to think I'm crazy because, I say strange things. But then you went into the donkey show, and I'm saying these guys are crazier than me.
Except he wasn't real. He was just trying to make a joke.
Yeah, so anyway, do you know what the Native American church is? You ever heard of that?
Roughly. Is that the same one that's like using ayahuasca and stuff?
No. Ayahuasca is it's something that belongs to South America.
Okay.
Native American church belongs to North America.
Sure.
We don't put up with mixing medicines. The one we use is Lobifora willemsi, commonly referred to as peyote.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
It's mescaline, not DMT.
Right.
But I know about ayahuasca, although I'm in this other way. But basically, I'm going to start out because you really have to understand what God is. And if you can't agree on what God is, then you can't really say, let's get rid of it.
Let's get rid of it.
I don't know what to get rid of.
The thing is,
so
I'm not. So, all right, go ahead. We'll get there.
My primary statement is, if there is a God, then it's beyond our human understanding and knowing.
Okay, how did you reach that conclusion? Because I don't know. Basically, you're saying that if someone claims to know or understand God, this is not possible, and I don't know how you concluded that.
And furthermore, why would you continue pursuing it if you can't understand it?
If you go, I'm not going to give you every tribal representation, but I'll pick some of the favorites.
My question has nothing to do with any tribal representation. It is a question of epistemology. How did you determine that the only way that there can be a God is if it is fundamentally unknowable to humans?
This God, the Wakantanka, is the idea is that God is a great mystery beyond our understanding.
Okay, Brant.
It's not always beyond our understanding.
Brant, so you're talking about a specific...
It can evolve.
Earlier, you said essentially that you'd have to understand God, and that God isn't understandable. But now you seem to be talking about a specific God and a specific concept that this God isn't understandable. So I'm trying to understand, are you saying that it is impossible for there to be a God and for humans to have some understanding of it?
No, I'm saying that humans have to evolve in their awareness in order to have this God become something direct. But
wait.
It's not a singularity, it's a binary concept.
Humans have to evolve. Wait, so are you telling us what can happen in the future, what's going to happen? That we're going to evolve and then we will understand?
No, it's an individual thing.
Okay, so you're using evolve as a metaphor.
Yeah, evolve as a metaphor.
Sure. And so what you're really saying there is that an individual human has to learn to understand a God.
Yes.
Okay.
You just said that we can't.
Conscious.
It's impossible.
So I'm curious as to what is this proposed path that one must follow to learn to understand God?
Well, there's some natural things that go on that are part of all of this. And I'm going to tell you about the hypothesis that led me to understand far more than I did before. And
why can't you just answer the question about what is this path to understanding God? Because that's the only thing that matters. What's the path, and how do we know that it is the path to understanding God?
human beings have to develop certain characteristics.
Which characteristics, and how do you know this?
Um, the basic layout goes charity, hope, faith, and love. Now, you're going to have a problem with faith, but I'm not talking about gullibility or confirmation, because you can only have faith in truth.
No. Okay.
We're going off on little
do
tangents.
you just mean confidence in truth?
No, it's not confidence.
Okay. What do you mean in truth? What is it in truth that I need to have?
Okay. It is an agreement. You encounter truth and you agree with that truth. You are in that agreement. You're in harmony. It's a harmonious situation.
How do you tell what's true?
Huh?
How do you tell what's true?
By the harmony.
Wait, so if there's no harmony, then that means that whatever it is false? So, like...
harmony between what?
They're disharmonious.
Harmony between what?
Huh?
Harmony between what?
Between yourself and the truth. If
Okay,
you can't be harmonious in what you recognize as truth, then it can't be truth.
Okay, it is true that I am holding my glasses between my first two fingers of my right hand.
Yeah.
Okay, that is true to the best of my ability to discern truth, and I am in agreement with it. Where's the harmony? Are you just saying I agree with it? I have confidence that it's true?
The harmony starts with, I have faith that you are holding your glasses.
No, you can look at the damn screen.
You have evidence.
You have evidence.
No, I only have a phone right here.
Okay,
I don't have a screen.
At some point you can go back on YouTube and show that I'm actually holding it.
But he actually told you that he was holding his glasses, so that counts as evidence.
Okay, so
yeah.
Okay, so right now I have right now I have put down my glasses and I'm now holding a pen between my first two fingers. And do you just have faith that that's true too?
I'm going to trust you until...
That's a mistake, because I'm still holding my glasses. I don't even have a pen on the table. So this is the problem with you talking about a harmony with truth.
That's the thing, is you can be wrong. That's the point.
Yeah, you can be.
Right. So why should we believe you?
I won't ask you to believe me.
You are. You're describing a path and telling us what characteristics humans need to have to find and know God. And we're wondering, how did you come by this path or characteristics, and how can we know that this is correct?
I'll have to tell you a really very short story in order for you to understand it.
Why didn't you lead with that?
Well, I think he tried to, but go ahead. Tell us your short story. I will say that in the entire history of sound epistemology, never have we had to begin with, here's a fucking story. But go ahead.
But, okay, once upon a time, far, far away, there was something laying as if asleep. All of a sudden, it took a breath. It breathed in. And as it breathed out, it began to awaken. Now, this is not God. This is just a story. But basically what it tells you in the story is that once upon a time, far, far away, that's space, something was laying as if asleep. That's matter. It took a breath in. That's motion. And as it breathed out, it awakened. That's intelligence. Those are the natures of God right there.
How do you know?
Can you prove it?
See, that's why I have to identify myself as a theist because, well, time does exist, right? Motion exists, matter exists.
No, those are labels that we describe
all of those
things with.
Exist.
No, they don't.
Now,
everything that you just listed is an abstract concept that doesn't exist independently. It is the labels that we put on things that we observe. We observe motion. We observe interactions. We describe it that way. But what I'm asking you is, you told a story, and then said that this is basically a description. First of all, you said it wasn't God, and then you said it was a description that was God. And when we asked how do you know? Because you could have started with a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did that on purpose just to be a idiot.
Okay, then let's stop all that, Brant, because if you have some understanding of God and some understanding of how other people can understand God, why can you not just tell us how can we have an understanding of God, and how do you know that this is the way to get that understanding?
Well, there's another equally short story.
And we'll hear it from somebody else. Oh, I'm sorry. I pushed the button.
Well, no, I was just going to say that when you start with all these stories and you're trying to say that you have evidence for a God, then we're talking about reality. So when you start telling these stories and starting them off with once upon a time and far, far away, you're just making it look even more silly to us because it already looks like a silly story. And you're not helping your case when you do that.
Yeah, so you told a story, a poem that was potentially an incredibly beautiful metaphor.
Deep, insightful.
Seems really deep. And all we cared about was, is it true and how do you know it's true? Because there's countless stories like that describe all kinds of different things or could be interpreted in such a way that they describe all kinds of different things.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. When you tell a story like that, you can interpret the breath as anything. You can interpret the movement as anything. Like you can interpret however you feel like it at that time. And that doesn't mean that, therefore, what I feel is true and you have to believe it too.
And the more ambiguous or poetic the tale is, the more prone it is to interpretation. Because what you described could have been describing, I don't know, the origin of the universe. Or it could have been, a dragon sleeping, and it's when you start adding those details to the poem, now all of a sudden you're making proclamations that this is a story that's going to lead us to a truth. And we're not saying you're wrong. All we're saying is, how do you know that that's leading you to a truth? How do you know that the truth that you've discovered is true?
Yeah,
and you can't just talk about, faith, but not the faith you're talking about. By faith, I mean harmonious with the truth. Well, from a philosophical standpoint, truth may not even be attainable. There may be no way to say X is in fact true. We may be forever blocked at just based on my current understanding of the universe that I apparently inhabit, this seems to be the case. And that's why, for me, the definition of truth is that which is compatible with the universe that I experience. Now, obviously, within this universe, that includes truths like delusions and hallucinations and things like that. And we have the ability to discern some of those things. But if you're just going to come with a poem, once upon a time, and, there is a path to God, and it starts with charity, and harmony or charity and faith and hope and love, I think, or whatever. I mean,
But God is love.
I've been charitable. I have hope. I think hope was one of them.
Faith, hope, and charity.
I love, and I have tried to be harmonious with the truth. And one of the ways that to whatever extent I'm clear on the understanding of that, one of the ways to be harmonious with the truth is to have rigorous standards of evidence such that you want, like I say, I want to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible. And you have to have both parts of that. Because if you want to believe as many true things as possible, you just believe everything. And if you want to believe as few false things as possible, you believe nothing. So what I'm saying is I want my map of reality in my head to match reality as best as I can. And I do it knowing I'm going to make mistakes, that we all make mistakes. But one of the ways to minimize the mistakes you make is to not go by interpretations and stories and here's how I feel about it. Or, and I'm sure I'll get emails about this as well, I'm going to get high on peyote or ayahuasca or whatever, and then I'm going to have an experience and I'm going to reach the conclusion that this experience I had leads me to some bigger truth, something that I couldn't have understood without the drugs. Something that I couldn't have understood, set the drugs aside, something I couldn't have understood without hearing that story and sitting down thinking about it, being a contemplative. That's not a reliable path to truth. Just like you taking it on faith, whether or not I'm holding glasses or a pen, is not a reliable path to truth. One of the two of us has rigorous standards to try to be as consistent and harmonious with the truth as possible. And the other one doesn't. Yeah. And I guess that's the heart of it.